So a question came up the other day when I was dealing with some tech people, and it was one of those questions where you sit there and you're staring at people and you're going, "Oh my golly, was that question actually asked?" Right? And the question was basically, how do you talk to black people, right? Because here in the Baltimore area, folks like me, we are actually the minority. That's actually not a joke. After I got done with that particular event, I went home and I looked at Baltimore City's racial composition online, and it was 63.7% is African American. So there's this whole thing, diversity in the Baltimore area isn't just one of those buzzwords. It actually matters because I'm a minority. But it was interesting because I was sitting there and, people were talking back and forth. And one of the things that was said is, how I don't know how to, I don't know how to talk to, diverse people. Basically what they were saying is black people. And so I figured I would just do this little commentary today to explain how you in fact talk to black people, because this is one thing that I personally don't understand. As I've talked about a lot before, I have something called Asperger's syndrome, which basically means I am mentally retarded when it comes to like the whole social communication thing. And so one thing that I don't really understand is like this whole weird thing with like white people and black people and all these other kind of people talking. It's kind of like you just go and you talk to people, I would think. And so my businesses and my employees and all that have always been diverse, not for any like social statement, just simply because, hey, I need an employee. Hey, look, your resume looks good, you're hired. Oh, look, you're a black guy too. What does it really matter to me? Hey, you have a computer to repair and you have money. I can repair your computer and I'm happy to take money. Oh, look, you're also black. But anyways, so the thing that you have to think about whenever you're going to be talking to anybody of any other culture or diversity or any of that, basically in the United States, aka black people, whenever we talk about diversity, it's black people. But anyways, really, all you do to talk to the other side is say hi, hello, how you doing, yo, dude. Not really sure about dude. Dude doesn't always know it to go over well. But the thing that you have to understand is that the other person is in fact a human being. And so essentially all you have to do in order to talk to that human being is to in fact treat them like a human being. And if you treat everybody as if they are actually human beings, it gets a lot easier. It's funny because, again, like I say, here in like the Baltimore area, you see these people, and it's like, oh, I don't know how to talk to different racial groups. And it's like, dude, you walk up and you say hi. Hello. And they go, hi. And go, And so one of the things you have to think about, because, this is what everybody worries about. Oh, those are different types of people. And so if you are really worried about talking to people of different ethnicities or whatever, there's a couple of pieces of advice that I can give you. One is treat them like a human being. Basically, walk up to everybody and act as if they are white. Or act if they're black, or act as if they're whatever your racial thing is. Just walk up to them and treat them like a human being. Hi, how are you doing? Nice weather. Something like that, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is then, again, if you are going to be talking to people, try to find whatever thing you guys, that you figure that everybody can agree on to talk, to communicate about. So if you're going into a new environment and you're not sure what everybody there talks about, talk about something that everybody can agree on. Like, hey, how's the weather? You walk up to somebody, you can walk up to somebody of any color, of any nationality, of any of that, and you can go, wow, it is hot today. Or you can say, wow, it is cold today. Or you can say, wow, it's kind of a nice day today, isn't it? And everybody can get on board with that, right? You can start to have a conversation. You can start to talk because you can all agree about the weather. Current politics, maybe not. Current religion, probably not. Current a lot of other things, may or may not. But you can talk about things like the weather. Hey, what about the weather? Hey, what about the local sports team? Hey, what about whatever? So you go up, you treat the people like an actual human being, and then you find kind of like the lowest common denominator thing to talk about, to communicate about. Again, like I say, the weather. The reason I talk with everybody is I always start with the weather. If you start with the weather, you can go on from there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you go in and you start talking politics, or if you go in and you start talking religion, or you go in and you start talking about all this other kind of high level stuff, things can spiral down the crapper really quick. If you go in and you just say, hey, it's like I say, hot, cold, whatever, then that's something that you can start communicating about. And one thing you have to understand about communication is once you start talking, everything gets easier. It's, you know, it's that whole inertia thing. Things in motion like to stay in motion, and things that are stopped like to stay stopped. So the issue is when you walk up to somebody that is completely different than you, the inertia is you're not currently talking. You're not currently communicating. So what you have to do is you have to break that inertia to get the movement going. And so that's the thing, is you start with something like the weather or the sports team or any of that kind of stuff, and you start talking. And then once you start talking, again, you will be surprised how it spins and where it will go and all the fun you can have after that. The final thing that I will give you, after you treat people like they're human, after you find the lowest common denominator and something they can talk about, you know, the weather, is the final thing is I would say that you should go in and you should act inferior or feel okay acting inferior to the other side. And this is a big problem that I see, especially with white people. Right? Because we are taught from day one, whether or not we will admit it, that we are the people, right? You know, if you look around the United States, if you look around the Western world, basically white people are put up on a pedestal, and then everybody else is, you know, supposed to be, it's kind of like, you know, it really is like this idea that everybody should be aspiring to be white. And since we are white, a lot of us don't even realize it. We walk in and we go, yes, we are the right way of doing things, and everybody else should aspire to be like us. Well, imagine if you were like anybody else. That would kind of piss you off, right? You know, think about if you were with another ethnicity, or what if you were a different skin color, or any of that, and you had people walking in every damn day acting like their crap doesn't stink, all because they happen to be born with a certain color of skin. Right? How much would you really want to talk to those people? Imagine if people kept walking into your environment and basically said, you are inferior, you need to change everything you're doing because we do it right and you suck, right? It just pisses people off. So one of the things that I would say people should get used to doing is simply act inferior. Feel comfortable acting like the dummy. One of the reasons I've done so well traveling around the world and traveling all over the place in the United States, like I say, I've been everywhere from the ghettos to the penthouses and everywhere in between. And one of the reasons is because whenever I interact with somebody, I'm always comfortable feeling like the inferior party, right? You are smarter than me. You know more than me. You probably have a better idea of what's going on with the world. Well, here's the thing, right? Because here's the issue. Especially when you're dealing with ethnicities and race, and you're dealing with, you know, histories of slavery and Jim Crow and all this other horse crap, right? You know, if you have the normal mindset where the white person walks in and they feel superior, and you have the minority who walks in and they already feel that they're going to get smacked on the nose, that already sets up a really, really nasty dynamic, right? You know, this person already feels like they should be superior, and this one already feels like they're going to be impressed. All just spirals down the crapper, right? So if you just walk in and you go, like I say, you walk up to them, you treat them like a human being, you say, how's the weather? And then you look and you find something about them that seems very interesting, that they are a cook. Oh, you're a cook. I've always wanted to be a cook. How did you become a cook? Oh, you're a bus driver. Wow, it must be fun to be a bus driver. That's probably racist right there. But you know, like find things about the other side that you are impressed with. Wow, look at this amazing house you are in. Look at, probably anything I say here would probably sound horribly racist, but what I want to explain to you is you whenever you meet the person, is be comfortable feeling as if you're in the inferior position, that they have things about them that are better about them than about you, and that changes the dynamic and everything feels comfortable, right? Imagine if somebody comes up to you and goes, wow, you have some really good clothes on. I really like your style. Or imagine if somebody comes up to you and goes, wow, you're a computer geek. Man, I always wanted to be a computer geek, but you know, I just don't have the brain power for it. Or, you know, it changes the feeling. You're like, wow, look at this. This person is coming up to me and saying I'm pretty cool. Well, now that I feel pretty cool, I'm going to be pretty nice to this person, right? And that's it. That's really at the end of the day, it's just treating the other person. It's treating the other people as if they're just normal people and trying to dump all the baggage. Because again, like I say, it was really funny. You know, I was at this thing, and again, it's a real world. When I talk about this stuff, you know, I'm not just pulling this out of my. I really sit there, these real world things, and it really is. It's like, how do we talk to black people? How can we have conversations in a diverse environment? It's like you walk up, you say hi, you talk about the weather, you compliment them on something, and amazing things happen. So there we go. That's really how you talk to black people and white people and cappuccino people and every other people in between. It really is. Really is. It's so funny. Like I don't understand people. Like I say, I guess it's my brain. I just don't get it. People are like, just like you walk up and say hi. You walk up, hey. It's hot today. It's cold today. Wow, I like those shoes. Yeah, so there you go. That's my comment for the day. But just so you guys know, these are the real conversations that are happening in really, really strange places. And it's so sad that even in 2014, these conversations actually have to be had.